Hey guys, big video today. Big video today. So yesterday I posted a video about puppies. All right, and that I think and that and you know and I not like today that I'm filming. I didn't film it. I filmed it today. All right, I filmed the puppy video like just now. Like I just filmed that video, but I posted it. I will be posting it the day before this one. All right, just to kind of clear that timeline up, because I think I think some people might be kind of confused about the timeline sorts on that end of things. And but today, so I posted a video yesterday, or I will be posting a video on the day before I post this video that I'm filming right now. And that video that I would have posted the day before would be about puppies. Right. And I can just, imagine the comment section on that one. I can only imagine, all the love that people would have in the comments for puppies, because like, man, who doesn't, who doesn't love puppies? You know what I mean? So I thought I would, based on that one, I thought, that maybe that was too easy. Maybe that was kind of giving myself a crutch, and when it comes to like the things that I want to do on my channel, I kind of want to push that envelope. I kind of want to, I don't always want to take the easy route. I mean, sometimes I might, but like sometimes I don't want to do the easy thing, and the easy thing would be to review, something that's so mainstream and so common and everybody knows it. Everybody knows what puppies are, and everybody loves puppies. It's a thing that everybody loves. And it's fun to review things like that. And there's nothing wrong, if other people are reviewing puppies too. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But, I just think, as a bit of a kind of a challenge for myself, and, as part of this 30 kind of day challenge that I'm doing, I kind of want to put myself out there and kind of, change, how you think about what content could be and all that. So instead of reviewing something that's mainstream and that everybody likes and everybody knows and everybody loves, I figured I'd do something a little different. So in the spirit of that, today we're talking about this board game. It's called the YIAY board game. And I have it here. I have this. It's kind of heavy, so I can only hold it with one hand because I got to hold the microphone with the other hand, but it's kind of heavy. But yes, that's the YIAY. Yesterday I asked you YIAY the board game. So I won't be doing that a lot because it's kind of heavy to hold with one hand, but that's what we're talking about today. All right, is the YIAY board game. And so for those of you who don't know, aren't in the know about what the YIAY, the yesterday I asked you YIAY the board game is, I can give a little bit of backstory there. Don't you worry. I'll give you a little bit of backstory. All right. So there's another YouTuber by the name of Jacksfilms. All right. And he's also a YouTuber, he's similar, in ways to me and different in other ways, just kind of like any other YouTuber out there. And he has he has a series called YIAY. All right. And YIAY stands for Yesterday I Asked You. And so what that series is, it's a long series. It's many videos. He's done many videos on this, at least 500 at least. And, so he's done lots of videos like this where he asks, he'll ask you a question and then you kind of submit your answer, and you submit your answer and then, maybe he picks it. And if he picks what he does if you pick your answers, he'll put it in the next video. And it's not always the very next video, but the video where he kind of answers that question, or when other people answer that question and he picks your answer, he'll pick your answer, or he might not pick your answer. It can kind of go, there's only so much room for answers. You can't make a 10 or 1 hour long video or whatever. But he'll pick, a set of answers from you, right? Because it's yesterday asked you, and he'll pick the kind of the best ones, those funniest answers that, that people come up with, and it'll be a great time. He'll read the answer and he'll have like a little response, usually after the answer, and be like, yeah, that is a funny answer. And so that's kind of the format, that's kind of the series YIAY. All right, the YIAY series yesterday I asked you. So he has that series. So that's the YIAY part of it. And then he makes a board game based on YIAY. So it's similar, I think, to YIAY. I haven't played it, but I do have it. And I've kind of read the back and kind of seen like, oh, this is kind of how the possible things that you could do with the YIAY, the board game, is you could roll the die, pick a question, write your answer, and choose the funniest one. That's kind of the 4 steps of YIAY, right? And that's kind of, and in a way, that's kind of what he does with his, YIAY videos. Is he'll do that. Like he'll pick the best, he'll choose the funniest ones, right? So that's really nice and a good way to kind of involve, the community, is to do that. And so. And it's really interesting because he has at least 500 videos, and I know that because there was a 500th YIAY. All right, and that was kind of a big deal. That was kind of a big deal, big deal for a big review. You know what I mean? That was kind of a big deal, and so it's kind of like an anniversary or like a milestone. Is like 500 YIAYs, and that's kind of a big deal, is to do 500 videos. So he had one of those, and he, just like with the other ones, he was asking people for submissions, and I think what's coming. If you're a Dingus Reviews fan, I think what's coming next, because I made a submission for YIAY 500, YIAY number 500, the big 500, and it was this kind of like, what he was asking for was, he had this green screen footage, and he gave the raw footage with the green screen still in the background, and he said, take this footage and make. Yesterday I asked you to take this footage and make your funniest, cut it together in the funniest way. And I don't think that was the whole video. I think there were other parts of the video where he was, maybe he was doing like a Your Grammar Sucks or a YGS kind of thing. I can't remember what else was in the video. I'm guessing it was YIAY related, actually. That would probably make more sense. But he did this. He asked for submissions, give me 500, or he didn't say 500 submissions, but it was for YIAY 500, give me submissions and cut together this green screen footage, and maybe I'll put it in. I'll put the funniest ones in. The funniest gets in. The funniest entries get in. And so I worked on a submission, and there was kind of a limited time. I think it was like 5 days or something like that, or maybe 4. It was a limited time to make that submission, and I was. I can't remember if I was in work or in school at the time, but like I worked on it. I worked, and I did it, and I worked in my free time and did it. And I submitted, an entry, and I posted it on my channel, and I did put it in the hashtag or whatever. And, it didn't, get in. The YIAY 500 came out, it came out, and that was about an hour long. And I kind of like combed through, I didn't watch, all of the video. I kind of skipped around, but I was kind of looking for, my entry, and, I didn't see it, I didn't see it. And it's possible that he saw it, and I don't know if he saw it. I don't remember if he had, kind of a team of people to kind of, see those entries. But I don't know if he saw it, but it didn't make it in. So that was kind of It happens. It happens. Life happens, and it is what it is, and that's what it is. So, um, and life goes on, and you just and you kind of move on from these things, and it was a long time ago. It was 5 years ago or something, or something like that. Um, and that was I don't remember if that was before or after I kind of uh, bought into the Kickstarter or GoFundMe or whatever. There was a Kickstarter. It was a Kickstarter. There was for this the board game, and that might have been. I think it might have been before. Before I submitted that video, and before it didn't make it in. So I spent whatever it was, the $50 for the board game before I submitted, and it didn't make it in, and so here I have the board game, and it's and you know what, I haven't played it yet, and I'm sure it's a great game. I'm sure it's a great game, and it's not. He's kind of he's done another game in the form of an app, and that's an app, and it was called like it was similar to YIAY, but it wasn't called YIAY the app. It was like Be Funny Now, Be Funny Now, Be Funny Now was the app, and I guess that didn't do so well, and that's kind of a shame, but yeah, so I guess so I haven't played the YIAY the board game either, and I'll bring and I'll go and I'll do a board game night. Every once in a while I'll do a board game night. I kind of like to party. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm kind of a party meister, or like party animal. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of a you get a couple drinks in me, and and I go a little wild. I go a little crazy, and so that can happen. And so sometimes I'll go to a board game night and I'll bring a handful of board games. I don't want to, I've got, my collection isn't the most extensive, but it's also not small, so I'll bring a couple. I'll bring a couple board games, and just kind of see what people are interested in, because sometimes you get there and not everyone wants to play this or that, and every time I've brought the YIAY board game, every time that I did, strangely, people didn't want to play it, and I think that's kind of a shame. I think it's kind of a shame that people just weren't that interested, and that's a little bit sad. It's as far as Jacksfilms goes, like he did a really good you put yourself out there, and you made a board game, and not everyone has done that, and so that I think is worthy of some. That's commendable. I think that's pretty good that you've kind of done that, and not everyone has, and I haven't. I from where I stand, that's not something I've done. So, you can say that. You can say that you tried, and not a lot of people can say that, and I think that's pretty special. But yeah, there was not a lot of interest in the YIAY the board game, and I think that's kind of tragic, and I think that's kind of a shame. But yeah, so I haven't played it yet, and so I don't know if I can give it a full critique, or a full review. But perhaps I could, because I've seen a lot of YIAY. I've probably seen, it's possible that I've seen all 500 YIAYs. I think that's quite possible, and I think there might have been a few that I missed early on, but I definitely remember at least a few of the early YIAYs. That first time he did Roses Are Red, that, and maybe that doesn't make sense if you're not a YIAY guy like me, but or like I was, but Roses Are Red, one of the first times he did that, I remember, and I've submitted a couple times, and some of them I got in, but they were just kind of small tweets, and this time it was kind of a larger video that or not, it wasn't huge, but it was like, there was a lot of editing going on and everything in kind of a short amount of time. So I guess that was kind of but that happens, and I think yeah. So as far as I'm familiar with YIAY, right? I know YIAY. I'm a YIAY guy. I'm a big YIAY guy, and so, but as far as YIAY the board game, I think it's there's just not a lot of interest, and that's kind of a shame. So I think based on that, without having played it, I think based on kind of audience interest, just anecdotally kind of gauging interest, I think the most fitting score is probably 1 out of 10. And that's without even, maybe if that game is ever played, then I think, people might feel differently. But I think as far as how it stands now, 1 out of 10 might be the most, fitting score. And I think that's just kind of how it is. And, sometimes you put a lot of work into something and it just doesn't work out. And I think that's kind of the case here. So yeah. But thank you for watching, and yeah, thank you.